ho. What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 74 of Convos on the Pedicab. I'm here with a very good friend of mine, Angeles Almaguer.
Close.
It's close?
It's close.
All right. That's all. Okay.
Very proud of you.
Thank you. I learned really quickly. Yeah, I've known Angie for a very long time. She used to work at Halcyon. Do you still work at Fourth & Co.?
No, I don't.
Where do you work now?
I work at Jackalope South Shore.
Oh.
I'm part of the Jackalope family, baby.
I like it. Are you still at Egos?
No, I got fired.
Why?
Because I dressed too much like a hoe.
What that's retarded.
Yeah.
That should, why would you fire somebody who's going to give you more business? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Wardrobe stuff, I guess.
Yeah,
I wore my shorts were too short.
Boycotting.
Oh, when was the last time you actually went to Egos?
Never. Once when I had these 3 drunk
I think
chicks.
I was working that day.
Yeah, you were working. Yeah, these 3 drunk chicks came in, and I gave them the ride. I was playing my rap songs. They really liked them. They bought me a drink, and then I went back along my merry way and drove back. But that was probably the last time I was there, and the only time I think I was ever in Egos. Probably never gonna go back there again after that. But anyway, Delta's running rampant. I'm wearing my mask. Angie wanted me to wanted me to keep her safe from COVID. So
hell yeah.
I have the mask to just, show that I care about fighting the virus.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's been a pretty rough couple weeks politically. A lot of shit's been happening.
Really? I had no idea.
Then we got this. We got this bottle of Bullet. This delicious bottle of Bullet whiskey that
it's gonna get us through the rest of this.
It's gonna get us through this episode. It's gonna be a fun episode. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. So let's just get right to it, man. How do you feel about this? How do you feel about this whole abortion thing?
Oh man, diving right in. Okay,
let's dive right in. Yeah.
It's fucking ridiculous. I mean, how do you mean, what do I feel about it? That's literally any woman that isn't Christian and I mean, I take that back because there's a lot of Christian women that also don't believe in that. But any women that's just owning their body,
Well, all right. So I think it's a really stupid law to do. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's ridiculous. I think that right now, and I've had pretty high-ranking GOP people, not the highest, but people who are semi up there. And I've talked to them about this. I had this one dude who's the policy director for the Texas YRs, Young Republicans.
Yeah.
And I literally told him, I was like, hey, bro, listen, there's literally a war on medical freedom going on right now. Mm-hmm. You don't think that maybe passing a law that's gonna tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body is gonna turn people off from the medical freedom that you're actually doing a good job of advocating for when it comes to masks and vaccines and closures? Yeah. And I think that it's a mistake. I think that when you're doing something like that, you're it's a Trojan horse in my opinion. You're strengthening the case for more COVID restrictions.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I think. I think it's a war on the human body. Mm-hmm. And I do kind of understand what they're trying to say, right? But I don't agree with this becoming a law because you can't take away you can't overturn a landmark Supreme Court case. I don't agree with that. So
okay, when you say you understand what they're trying to say, explain to me what they're trying to say.
I mean all right, so personally speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I got a girl pregnant, mm-hmm. right? I don't know how and I knew that she had to have an abortion and get rid of the baby. Yeah. I feel kind of bad that I got rid of the baby or facilitated it, right? But I don't think it should be illegal. Does that make sense? Do you understand my perspective on that?
Yeah, absolutely. But you should still be allowed the
You should
choice,
be allowed. Of course.
Right?
No, I agree with you. You should definitely.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. Well, morally, I understand what you're trying to say morally. Yeah. I just don't think. I think that there's a difference between something being wrong morally and something being illegal. Does that make? Does it? You understand
absolutely.
What I'm saying?
But here's the thing: if we're bringing morality into it, then how is it okay for a man to rape somebody?
Well, it's not.
Exactly. So how are men getting or people getting away with rape? How are people getting no sentences? How is that happening?
Well, there's also a lot of people that don't report stuff too.
Oh,
which is also a huge problem as well.
Yeah, of course. And we have to understand that. And that's why all of this ties in together as far as this stuff isn't being reported. That's why you shouldn't be telling someone whether or not they should keep something that they don't want, that they don't feel like they should have.
I think that the rape stuff and some of that other crazy shit is probably going to get fixed. I hope it is. I think. Abbott
you have
said something,
literally Greg Abbott saying "Oh, we're gonna arrest all the rapists in the street." I'm how do you know?
I thought he also said that he was gonna eliminate the rape requirement from that bill. If that happened, you could get a pass over. Like I thought he said something like that too. Like,
possibly, but
which they should definitely do. Like you got to do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I know a bunch of like conservative like women that are like kind of low key pretty pissed off about this bill too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's literally like a war on our uterus, man. Like our whole lives we're being told what to do, what can't we do, what to wear, what not to wear, how to act, what not to say. Like every fucking thing is like constantly monitored on us. And the fact that like, okay, I don't feel like I can raise a child right now because I'm not financially stable. Why should I have this baby?
No, hey,
you know what I mean? Like,
I 100% agree.
Oh,
with you.
absolutely.
100%. Like I'm not arguing with you in that capacity, but like they're also just. I'm not even pushing back, but I'm just making like other points.
Of
like
course.
From when I was single back in the day, like there's also a lot of like a lot of girls in Austin make some really stupid sexual decisions.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, you know, like really stupid sexual.
I'm fully aware.
Like really dumb decisions, and it's like, I remember when I was like dating and I met chicks off like Tinder and like not Bumble really so much because I only met my girlfriend on Bumble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe someone else like before that, but
Yeah.
Tinder and OkCupid were really my go-tos.
Not Plenty of Fish.
No, I didn't do PF. But, or, you meet a couple chicks while you're doing your job or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And, like, hey, date number 3 rolls around. You've hooked up a couple times, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, Alex, you don't need to use a condom if you don't want to.
Oof.
I've had that happen. Let's reiterate, I've never cheated on my girlfriend once, right?
Yeah, great.
But previously to meeting Vanessa, like, I've had, like, more instances than I'm comfortable with girls that I barely really know.
Yeah.
That have been like, yo, you can go fuck me without this condom on.
Yeah.
That's pretty fucking stupid. Like
that's wild. That's so risky. That's the thing.
Yeah, but a lot of girls are doing that, and like, there should be like an actual talk. There should be like, we got to do a better like job in our sex ed programs or whatever it is in school,
Absolutely.
or just with education communication to like tell people
birth
like
control,
yo, this is a really
contraception,
like
like all of that stuff.
Like if you don't want to be in a position where like you got to worry about doing something like that, you probably shouldn't fuck random dudes without a condom. And there's a lot of fucking hoes that live in. Not to sound degrading, but there are a lot of.
First of all, no hoe shaming here, please.
No, none.
Hoe shaming. I'm a proud advocate of being a hoe.
I support everybody doing what they want to do, but I'm saying though that like, there's a lot of other stuff that ties in. There's like a big web that ties into it. Because like on the surface, it's like, yo, I agree with you fully. Like this abortion stuff is really fucked up.
Yeah.
Especially when they're like telling you to go tell on people who like, who are thinking about getting the abortion. Like that's some Nazi shit. Like that's bad.
I know. Like, my neighbor can like, if she gets wind that I got an abortion, like fucking during this time period,
they can
I'm fucking sued. I can go to jail. Like, what the fuck is that, man?
It's fucked up. But you know what else? But you know what else is like? You know what else is like fucked up about it too, though?
Mm-hmm.
It's that like during COVID, you had all these like people that were like on the left, these like liberal, these liberal fuckwads, right?
Yeah.
That were like telling on people for leaving their house and going to the park. Remember that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was wild.
Yeah.
And going to the park outside, like that is proven, especially with the UV light, proven to like kill any fucking virus or anything that's airborne. Like it's crazy, man.
But I think that like the actions of a certain group of people that are like supporting vaccine passports and mask mandates and were willing to tell on you for going out to a party or going to like Barton Springs or going
are the
out
same
in large
fucking
groups,
people that will call
people no actually they're the same people that are like the most angry about this abortion snitching. That's why and what I'm trying to say is that it's like because like a certain group of people that are like on a certain side politically behaved a certain way in the beginning of COVID, I feel like it's turned a lot of people off to wanting to advocate for them, and I think that's kind of dangerous. Does that make
absolutely, absolutely. It's not going to want. Like, why are you saying, like, we have to wear our mask or we have to take these, like, shots and vaccines, but yet, like, you're telling us I absolutely can't have, a child. Like, I can't have an abortion. I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm sorry.
No, what you're saying is right. Like,
I kind of got lost train in my thought. I was
what
like,
you're saying is right. Like, like it's like when one group of when one political group is like overly shaming you for how you making a personal choice like during this virus, right?
Yeah.
Or taking a calculated risk, which you think is the best for you and your family, because everyone's different, right?
Yeah.
When like when that group is doing something, and like a law gets put in place that makes that particular group really upset and angry, a lot of people are going to be more focused on the idea of making them angry than it's like two sides of the same coin. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? It's like, hey, the vaccine passport people all think that you should have the right to an abortion and think it's wrong that the government's restricting your body autonomy. I'm like, well, how much do you really think I'm going to want to stand with you after you don't give a shit about my body autonomy?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or your body autonomy if you chose that you don't want to get the shot, right? Like, so that's...
Yeah, I'm definitely like a believer in like, do whatever the fuck you want with your body. Like, it does not matter to me. Like, it's not going to affect me in any way. So, like, that whole control aspect it's just mind-boggling to me that people get so angry for something that doesn't even fucking involve them. Like,
I agree.
You know?
Yeah.
And that shit just blows my fucking mind. I'm like, yo, just if this person doesn't want to take the shot, that's fine. There's so many shots that I didn't take as a kid because, like, not because I didn't want to or my family didn't believe in it. It was just like I just didn't take these shots, and I turned out fine.
My dad never got vaccinated for anything.
Really?
My grandmother, like this vaccine hesitancy shit runs in the Stranger household. Although it skipped a generation with my mom.
Fucking
I got
bottle.
you. It actually runs in the family. My dad, it skipped with him. But my dad never got vaccinated for anything. My grandmother didn't vaccinate my dad for polio, didn't give him any shots. Wow. And you know what happened to my dad? He got the measles. And then you know what happened to him afterwards?
Well, how old was he when he got the measles?
I think he's a teenager.
Oh, okay.
You know what happened to him afterwards?
What?
He recovered and he's fine.
Yeah.
And he did a great job of raising me, as you can see.
You're wearing a mask sitting in a pedicab.
Yeah, I'm wearing a mask, exactly. I'm the only one taking this virus seriously right now. You know
You're so ridiculous. Oh, man. No, but I completely agree with you. Like, definitely just do whatever the fuck you want with your body.
Yeah.
Like, why are there so many restrictions? Why is the government getting so fucking involved in one person's choice?
I agree.
And I know it's like this accumulates and it's a ton of people and it's not just one person, but like it's one person.
No, dude.
Like, the fuck
it's one
on.
person with a kid, and it's one person when it comes to you wearing a mask or getting a shot. It's you.
Yeah.
It's the government trying to get super invasive in your life, and it's not something I like. And I understand the moral case for not wanting to like abort a living thing that's inside of you. Yeah. I understand like how you might think that that's against God. I get that. Mm-hmm. Have you ever like had to go through that? Personally, if you don't want me to ask any personal questions, it's fine.
No, you can ask whatever. It's fine. No, I personally have not, but I've known so many women that have.
How do they feel?
I can't have children. I have polycystic ovarian syndrome. So
what does that mean?
Basically, my ovaries like develop like these really bad cysts, and it doesn't like produce a lot of eggs, so I can't have children.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal. Like, so many women have it. Endometriosis, like, that is such like a big thing. But yeah, so even if there's so many times where I should have been pregnant and then wasn't, because of what I have. And like sometimes I'm like, thank you, baby Jesus, for that. But I know so many women that have had abortions and that have lived through that but they catch it so early sometimes. But the earliest you can catch it is 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But your friends who've gotten these things, how do they feel afterwards?
Physically or mentally?
Both?
Physically, probably out for a few days, just kind of like down, like not down, but like, just resting up and whatnot, because it is, depending on where you are at your pregnancy, it can be like a huge toll on your body. Usually if it's early on, you're just like sleepy for like a day and then you're fine. But outside of that, like mentally, it was liberating for these girls.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't mean to like sound like that. Like,
yeah. It was liberating because knowing themselves that either the person, their partner, or whoever wasn't up to the task, or the women themselves were not financially ready for a child, or it was like a complete like it was rape. So
well, that's fucked up, right?
No, absolutely. Okay. But like
that doesn't include that.
I'm giving you different scenarios, right, because, like I said, I know several women in my life with each scenario, And so basically what I'm saying is like they felt like, thank God I had this choice to like make, because I wasn't ready financially, I wasn't ready emotionally, I wasn't ready for anything. Like, just imagine if someone who is financially fucked up, mentally fucked up, everything fucked up, and they have a child, right? And let's say this person's like a complete narcissist, fucking like manipulator, crazy mother or father, right? That they're in their lives and they're forced to have this child. They're going to raise this child
to be fucked up.
But
what if like this crazy narcissist also tries to peer pressure the woman to getting rid of the child that she doesn't want to get rid of?
That's a different story, because then and this is where we get a little tricky, because a lot of these women don't tell the person that knocked them out.
So I could have very possibly had
and you would have
grow up and they could have
never
I would
known.
never know, and I would never know.
Yeah, because
and it's almost like you alleviated me of a lot of like stress too.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And
so and this is something a lot of women take on just by themselves and with their friends. Like, you know what I mean? Like you'll have your best friend drive you to the fucking clinic, get that done, wait for you, bring you back, feed you, take care of you. Like,
and the other problem,
this is such like a
the other problem with this bill. Sorry if I'm interrupting.
Oh, you're fine.
Is that like it's going to make people not even want to call anybody to drive them to the clinic because they might be scared of getting told on. Like that's kind of fucked up.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fucked up. I think it's fucked up.
And then on top of that, like now that we can't really do it in the States, I mean in Texas, not in the States. I mean, I go to Mexico for all my drugs. No, but that we can't do it in Texas. Like they're having to drive 8, 9, 12, whatever hours to go to it.
On the plus side of this, though, and there's always a silver lining to this.
They get to have a road trip.
No, well, there's that. But the other plus side is maybe some of these like liberal Californians might stop moving here.
Stop moving here? No, fool. They're still gonna fucking move here. They see this as like easy, like money down here, or like easy. What is it? I can't even think. But they still gonna fucking move down here.
They don't give a fuck. They don't care.
They don't give a fuck.
They just like to pretend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're like we hate it, but I'm still going to go down there and I'm going to vote for Greg Abbott again.
Yo, the taxes are horrible. I mean, the taxes are great. Like, I might buy this house for $300K. Texas is a shithole. Like,
yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what's happening.
The worst people.
And then they're like buying the property and then like selling it and then flipping it and making like double the profit. You know?
Hey, look, I'm not mad about capitalism, but I just don't
I'm just saying,
I don't like those people.
I'm just saying, like, that kind of, oh man, like it's really driving so many people out, like into property and like homelessness.
Well, a lot of stuff is driving people into
absolutely,
but we're gonna talk about it in a minute, though.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in a minute. What was I gonna say though? So, I think we talked a lot about this whole abortion stuff and whatnot. Like, but they felt okay. Like, did they not like feel like guilty or bad or have any like anxiety or emotional stuff or feel like down or like a loss of like vitality for a minute? Because I've also heard stories about women who've gone through that and have felt like overwhelming amounts of like guilt or shame or all that stuff too.
Honestly, not the women that I know.
Okay.
Only because like the women I know are always really very sure on their stance on everything they do,
and they like thought it through, and
they'll think it through. Like it's not something that they'll just like fake and like not fake, like freak out about really. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely heard of instances where they like there is some remorse, but they will always like look back and be like, that was a good decision at that time.
My mom had an abortion before I was born.
Yeah,
because she was married to someone that she wasn't like fully in love with and stuff when she was younger. So I mean, I understand like every perspective.
Have you asked her how that?
I was talking to her about that literally on the way over.
Really? And what did she say?
She's like, well, I felt fine. I mean, I wasn't ready to do this, and I just felt fine.
Yeah,
like it was the right
that's
decision.
literally all. Like that's how most women feel.
Okay.
It's so interesting because everybody tries to paint like women as like this vulnerable, and we are vulnerable. Everyone is vulnerable. Everybody can be, right? But everybody tries to paint women as like this like fragile creature, and like that's not it at all. Like we know what the fuck choices we're making. We choose. That's why we want to do this. That's why we made that decision, because we know for A, B, or C reasons it's the best choice that I can make for myself and my future right now. So it's kind of selfish in a way, but being selfish is good sometimes.
I mean, we're always a little bit selfish. Like,
Yeah,
someone
of
could say
course.
me not wanting to, be a science experiment with, for Pfizer or Moderna is selfish, but it's whatever.
Oh my God, you haven't taken your shots?
I'm
getting.
I
what?
identify.
I'm sharing this with you.
I know. I
I'm
identify.
joking.
I identify as a vaccinated person. So,
Oh.
trans-vaxxed lives matter.
I hate you so much. I'm gonna throw this bottle at you.
Oh, shit. What about the adoption process?
Oh, that's actually something like I've looked into a lot because hopefully in my future when I am successful or
You'd want to adopt
financially, definitely.
Yeah. But I'm saying though, like
Definitely.
if you like got pregnant though, right?
Mm-hmm.
And someone's willing to like, hey man, like I'm happy to like adopt your kid for you.
Oh,
Why
man.
does that change it? Like, could that possibly change something? Because there's a lot of parents and people in your position,
Yeah.
who might be like ready to have children, and if
Yeah.
like somebody's like choosing to like abort their baby versus letting a family that wants to raise that baby,
Yeah.
maybe that changes things a little bit, doesn't it?
No,
Like,
well, that's the thing. Like, you've seen the movie Juno and like stuff like that. Like, that does happen.
Yeah.
But that's also like a choice.
Yeah.
Because you're like, for
but
example,
why are there not
like
enough,
say you.
but why are there like? How come more of these adoptions aren't taking place? Because I guarantee, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I haven't looked into it fully,
Mhm.
but I guarantee there's a lot more people that want to adopt, than there are
Absolutely.
people that want to get rid of their babies.
Absolutely. But there is
Um,
also already a plethora of children out there that don't have homes, that don't have families, that are looking to be adopted, that are just growing up in this
In like orphanages and foster
exactly
care
and
stuff,
like
yeah.
aren't being properly get looked over because they're not the ideal baby that a parent wants. You know what I mean? So that sounds really awful, but that's the fact.
No, I understand, and I think that like I understand that.
Mhm.
I talked to like a few people. I even talked to a dude from Infowars about this, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, and I said like, listen, man, like, if people are gonna try to outlaw something like abortion, you got to understand that it costs a lot more money to give birth to the child than it does to abort the child.
Mhm.
So if people are going to say all this stuff, at the very least, make it free to give birth to the kid.
Yep.
Because if the cost of getting rid of the kid is a
Yep.
lot cheaper than having the kid,
Yep.
what are people going to do economically, especially if they're poor and they're struggling? And
Absolutely.
but you know what the dude said?
What'd he say?
It's like, I agree with that. I think that's fine. I would support that.
Yeah.
So I think there are a lot of people that are even on the far right
Yeah.
that would support like free childbirth.
Yeah.
And I think that like,
but it's not only the childbirth you have to think about. You have to think about the 18, 20 plus years after that.
but if you give the kid up for adoption,
You give the kid up for adoption.
right? But you still have to pay for the child. Like you're still gonna have to pay to
Yeah.
have the child, right? So if you can
I mean,
subsidize,
a lot of those times where you give the kid up for adoption, or like say I mean, not a lot, but there are in those instances where you already have those parents or that are willing to adopt. So that's already a transition that's already happening. So most of the time, the parents will actually pay for that instead of the person giving birth. So I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying, like in that instance.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I still either way think that childbirth should be covered anyway.
Exactly.
I think that's a procedure that should just be
Especially
covered
now.
regardless.
Especially now.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Now, do you think like say for example or whatever, do you think like within time, because of the birth rate accelerating because people are being forced to have babies?
Well, you think the world's overpopulated and all that Bill Gates
Uh,
nonsense?
A little bit, yeah. I think
I
I think of natural selection for sure.
I think that is bullshit. I think that overpopulation stuff is bullshit.
Do you really think so?
Yeah, I really do. I think that you could like fit the entire population of the human species if you put them next to each other into like Jacksonville, Florida. Like there's so much.
What?
Yeah, like there is so much open space and open land already that when people say that the world is overpopulated, that's just a way for
Yeah, but this
that's,
like
that's
open
literally
space,
just a way,
this open
that's
space and
literally,
open.
Angeles, that's literally just a way for a bunch of global elites to centralize control over the population.
Look,
'Cause
man,
if you stop giving birth and you get rid of like the American family, you know who becomes your family? The state becomes your family.
That's awful.
Yeah, so whenever people say that the world's overpopulated and all that stuff, it's my opinion is it's a red flag.
Why is it a red flag?
It's a red flag. That
I'm not like
stuff is bullshit.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, dude, like there are parts of this world that you cannot populate in, that you cannot live in. Okay.
Like what?
The fucking desert, dude. Like fucking Amazon forest. Like people do live in there, but it's like dire conditions. Like you have mortality rates in like fucking oh my god, Costa Rica with like tribes living in the fucking mountains because it takes them 8 hours to get hiked down.
I think
I'm just letting you know.
Is probably going to take care of the overpopulation problem.
That's why I said natural selection. That's why I believe in that.
Oh my
but
God.
like no, but what I'm saying is like they're what the fuck was I even saying? Oh, but my question was before you went off into this crazy ass tangent.
Did I go on a tangent?
You did. Like, do you believe that they are going to start putting laws against adoption and like putting babies up for adoption?
I hope they don't. That'd be really fucked up if they did.
Exactly.
And
I feel like that's what's going to fucking happen, or like a fucking Handmaid's Tale type situation.
Well, I don't see like Abbott putting up laws against adoption.
If the population of children being
I don't
born
think
skyrockets,
that any of these
like say for example,
yeah, that's not happening.
Right, and then you don't
if
think
anything
so.
no if anything a lot of people have actually said that we're gonna it's not overpopulation, it's like underpopulation, and it's like an overly decreasing birth rates that are going to be a big concern in the next 20 to 30 years.
Absolutely. And this is why I think that dystopian future is going to happen, where we are forced to have these children and like being raped by men just to like have a baby.
Yeah, I think that's a little ways away. I think
but it's definitely in that direction.
Maybe or maybe not. I think it depends on what we do now.
Absolutely.
In terms of how,
it definitely depends on what we do now and how we act.
I think it depends upon what we do now, how vocal we are in our government. It's about people communicating with each other and understanding that like one side, just because you're on a side doesn't mean your side's always right about everything.
Yeah.
And that you can be wrong and you have to admit that, and you should talk to people who are on the other side of you.
Absolutely.
Depending on stuff. And then there's a very weird confluence, right? Because like pre-COVID, I was like pretty left on a lot of issues. Like I voted for Bernie. I was part of this like political union that like helped like certain candidates get into office and get elected, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I believed a lot of the Medicare for All, a lot of that shit. And then all of a sudden like lockdowns happened and all this, you know, all that occurred, and my attitude about those lockdowns kind of changed how I see things politically. So then all of a sudden you go from one side to like the other side of things. So I think it's very easy for people to do that. And I think that with that being said, it's
what made this switch for you was because you didn't like being told to stay inside.
Yeah. I didn't like being told what to do and overly regulated. I think that like any time you try to issue something like a lockdown, it's the ultimate form of authoritarianism, especially after I was seeing videos of people in other countries and in other like bluer cities and states like getting harassed by cops and beat up for like not social distancing. You know, like that's one of the most draconian things I've ever seen. I never thought that would even happen living here. Yeah. And because by and large that didn't really happen in America, it made me actually a lot more appreciative of living here.
Yeah.
And then when like Donald Trump was like, yeah, I don't want to do any kind of lockdowns or any national restrictions over this COVID stuff, and I think people should have their freedom to make their own decisions, and we're going to leave it up to like the states and the cities. I'm like, oh, and any inkling of him being a fascist kind of went away in my opinion, because I'm like not behaving like an authoritarian when a pandemic is literally the ideal opportunity to be an authoritarian kind of makes you the opposite of what that is, right?
I agree with you in that aspect and that thought, but I don't agree with you in the whole. Does that make sense?
Explain.
And like I said, like right before this happened, like I don't know statistics. I'm not a very like articulate person. I just talk a lot of shit, really.
You talk a lot of shit.
That's all I do.
We all do. I talk a lot of shit. It's my job.
I know. Look at you. You talk shit now. But I'm just saying, like, yeah, he didn't take that opportunity to, but it's because he knew his audience. He's a show, like he's a showman.
But that's
so
what I'm saying.
He knew his audience.
So his audience is clearly like doesn't believe in fascism, because if he did that and his audience supported him, then he would have a fascist audience,
but
right?
His audience was definitely very cult-like. That's the thing.
Yeah, but it was a fun cult, though.
No, it was not.
Some of it is
it was fun to watch. I'm like, y'all are crazy as fuck. Just like.
Those guys
storming the Capitol. Okay.
Well, okay, maybe that was a little fucked up, right?
That was wild.
That was wild. But so were the fucking protests that occurred during the summer too. That shit was wild too.
Well, I mean, like those protests were needed.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you know what percentage of New York of black males in New York between the ages of 18 and 44 have not been vaccinated?
No, tell me.
Over 70%.
Why is that?
Of black males between the ages of 18 and 44 have not gotten vaccinated.
Do you know the answer?
Yeah,
to
because
that?
black people have no reason to trust the government considering how they've been fucked over by the government and big pharma repeatedly.
Exactly.
Okay, but what I'm
You're
saying
right.
though is that de Blasio
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of these other Democrats want to issue vaccine passports and try to exclude people from society for not getting a shot. And if these things get implemented, you're literally creating a situation where you are excluding black people from participating in society. And where's BLM?
That is a very interesting thought. I did not think about it that way, for sure.
Yeah, it's like, where's BLM? Where are the people that are that want to teach CRT to your children? They're the same people that don't want black people to eat at the same restaurants as they do when you really look at the numbers.
Mm-hmm. Now, do you know, like, have you done any research on why, outside of that, like, is there any other reason for people of color not to be getting vaccinated as much?
I think that when you live in a certain community and when the government has given you no reason to trust them,
Mm-hmm.
which they haven't. There's
Yeah.
no reason for like if I was black, there'd be no reason for me to trust the government. Me being
Yeah.
a white Jewish guy who grew up in New York City, right? Like I have no reason to trust these people, okay?
Yeah.
Like, but like, there's no reason.
I didn't
like-
know you were Jewish, by the
Yeah,
way.
now you know. Now you know. So when I say this COVID stuff is like Nazi shit, I mean it. Like I understand. Like I had
absolutely.
family that went through this.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, wearing a mask doesn't mean you're a Nazi. I'm like, well, the what they did in Germany was incremental. It didn't just start off like we're gonna send you to concentration camps.
No,
It
we're
was
gonna
like,
make you wear the Star of David. We're gonna make you.
We're not gonna let you shop at certain
Exactly.
places. We're
Mhm.
gonna put you in certain areas. Like
Yeah.
this is the same. You're following the same playbook.
Yeah.
And then if you know about Operation Paperclip, you know about that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, Operation Paperclip was something that occurred in the early 1950s, where the United States basically took a bunch of Nazi scientists and highly accredited German like scholars, military people, etc., and brought them to work in our State Department and NASA and our CIA and our FBI. And a lot of those people created policies that are still in effect today, and a lot of them they had children and they taught at universities, and they have created a system of government and a sphere of influence, both academic, social, and economic, that is literally in effect right now as we speak. And a lot of these same principles are being used to guide what we're doing in COVID.
Yeah. I actually did hear about this. As you were describing it to me, I was like, oh, I've actually heard about the U.S. hiring a lot of these Nazi scientists and stuff. And I thought that was fucking wild. It's kind of like what's kind of happening now. I truly believe that the government sold its like like fucking weaponry to
the Taliban.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen.
That's my stance on that.
I think that this was the
that.
best thing for China that ever happened. Now China's going to have access to all these rare earth minerals to produce the new technologies that we need to actually fight climate change. And it's going to leave America behind.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be the number one country.
Yeah, thanks to our president.
Yeah.
Who won the election fair and square.
Stop winking at me. They can't see it on camera.
Most popular president in history.
Most popular president. Oh my God.
Oh shit. I think last thing before we move on to like the next like topic, right?
Sweaty as fuck.
I'm
man.
sweaty as fuck. How do you think I feel? I'm wearing a mask.
I know. No one asked you to wear it.
But you know what? I'm doing it voluntarily.
Oh man.
Have you ever seen a video of an abortion?
Yes.
Wait, how do you feel when you saw the video?
I felt it like in
my stomach.
I felt it. Yeah.
Uterus?
Felt like when you see someone get like kicked in the balls.
You felt it.
That's like with that feeling where like
yeah.
That's kind of like that. I'm like, oh, it looks crazy, but it was like one of those videos where it was a very far along abortion.
Okay.
So and it's very graphic, but like they have to go in and take parts of this child out. Most abortions are even like that nowadays. Are not like that. They're completely painless. You take a pill and that's it.
But what happens to the kid though?
What do you mean?
It just dissolves, or like?
Yeah, it just like comes out of you. Like it's like a.
But what's the
it's not even a
process,
fetus.
like,
It's like a
dissolving?
fucking. I mean, it could be anything between just like menstrual bleeding for like a day. And
No, I'm
that's
saying
it.
for the kid, like the fetus. Does it,
Like,
does
okay,
the fetus
well,
like
what-
dissolve?
how-
Does the fetus
how
get
long-
like ripped? Like how does the process
how
of?
old are you thinking?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anything
Because-
about this. I'm just I'm
Exactly,
a dude.
because you get 1 to 3 months. That's not even. That's nothing. Like it's
Yeah.
literally like a lot smaller than a peanut.
Yeah.
You know, it's an embryo. It's a cell. Like it'll just come right out. So there's no process of it dissolving. It just like bleeds out of you, and that's fine. If you're talking about something that is 4 to like 6, 9 months, that is definitely a more developed fetus, and yeah, that is going to be ripped out of you. Like that will be taken out bit by bit.
See that's
so metal.
See that's fucking wild. That's.
Yeah, that's wild. But I promise you, not a lot of abortions take place in that area because they want to initiate it. I mean, and not like what's the right word? They want to like take it out before that happens. Because,
I think it's
like,
very small. I think it's a very small percentage.
It's very, 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 very small now.
Just like a very small percentage of people who get abortions are like with it's like rape or incest. Like it's a small percentage that like people like freak out. Get like the loudest.
I don't know.
You know?
I don't know about small percentage on that, but like
I think it's only like 4% or something. Like it's not as
reported.
reported.
Yeah.
Reported.
Yeah.
Reported.
That's it.
You know what I think that they should? I think that honestly, when it comes to this stuff, they got to do a better job of like teaching sex ed and relationships to kids.
1,000%.
That's what I think. That's really what I think.
1,000%. Not, and you know, it's funny because I was just having this conversation with one of my friends. It's not only relationships like romantically or sexually, but relationships with humans and other people. Like that needs to be taught in schools as well. But yeah, sex ed, relationships, human decency, I think all needs to be taught. And if it's not being taught in our schools, like our parents need to step the fuck up.
You know what I think they should do? Because it's a pretty long like thing. Because my whole like thing is like, you know how like you see like a coloring book.
It's whiskey.
And there's like pages in the coloring book.
Yeah.
My thing is like coloring the whole pages, like the whole page within a coloring book. And so my philosophy is that I think abstinence only education is retarded.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it's retarded.
Are you kidding?
I think it's the dumbest thing. I think that actually produces more teen pregnancies than anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I came from a small town in Texas. I was born in South Chicago, but we ended up moving to South Texas.
You're like in the border. You're like right in the border.
Yeah. Donna, Farr, McAllen, that whole area. And when I tell you, I had a friend at 11 years old that was pregnant. Like, that is insane to me, but it's because none of that shit was taught in our schools. It was just always
How did
just
she get
like,
pregnant though? Was it like a classmate or was it incest or what the fuck
it was older guy. Like she had a boyfriend that was like older. That was like probably like 17 or 18.
What the fuck?
Yeah. The Valley's crazy, man.
But all right, but that's what I'm saying though, is that like I think that if you showed like videos of like what an abortion entailed,
Well,
or if you talked about like how like somebody might feel, like you just talk about it, you bring it up, like, hey,
Yeah.
if you go through this procedure, you might feel really depressed, you might feel really despondent, you might feel as though you destroyed human life, you might feel this way, and they should just be a allotment of time where people talk about those feelings. I think that would actually help maybe prevent something like that from happening. Because maybe
I agree, but
maybe
also
that teenager would just be like, "Yo, I'm going to use a condom."
Yeah, I agree and disagree at the same time. Because, for example, let's talk about STDs, right?
Yeah.
You get taught this way of thinking in school, right? About like getting herpes or chlamydia or whatever.
Dude, listen, Magic Johnson was the biggest cock blocker in the 1990s.
Don't have sex.
Yeah,
no, but what I'm trying to say is, so this way of thinking, like being like, oh, you might be blah blah blah, you might be really sad, you might be depressed, you're killing somebody or losing your life or whatever, whatever, you get it. But it creates such a stigma around it. And that's the same thing like with STDs. Like, it has created such a stigma to where like people look at it like it's leprosy or it is the worst fucking thing on the planet. But like most of them are curable, and the ones that are not curable are manageable, and you take treatment and it doesn't get passed on. Like, it's insane how I agree. Definitely needs to be taught. Like, hey, this is what can happen if you have an abortion, but also
it's your choice.
It is your choice, and it is not a bad. It is not a negative thing.
Whatever choice you make is your choice, but I do think that people should have a clear-cut understanding of what their choices should be and how they impact society and themselves, and they should go for this, and they should go for viruses. Yeah. And I think that the best way to like combat like hateful misinformation or hateful authoritarianism for when it comes to the human body is the truth.
Yeah.
That's it. I really think it should just be
Absolutely.
People should just tell the truth and be honest and be open.
Absolutely.
And communicate as accurately as they can.
Yeah.
That's really my opinion. That's really my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I agree with you 100% on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, like, in that state, in that world where we were teaching, if we were teaching that, don't create a negative stigma around it. Because that will definitely just
make people like hide things and whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think people should be accurate and honest, and some people might interpret it negatively and some people might not. But I think the greater the self-awareness is amongst younger people, the better our society becomes. Yeah. That's really what I believe.
Yeah.
I think people should also be like taught to understand like what a healthy boy-girl relationship is too.
Girl, boy,
whatever,
relationship.
You know what I mean? Like
any relationship.
Whatever, like people need to understand what healthy romantic relationships are. That's what I think. Like I mean
absolutely.
Because like when I was younger, like I used to get like mad. Like if I was about to meet some chick to like go do something, and she like stood me up or didn't want to come or like canceled last minute. I'm like, this fucking bitch wasting my time and shit,
Yeah.
But then I like read this article about this guy named Jeffrey Miller who does like sex relationship counseling and all this stuff, right? I wish I could find the article, but it was from a long time ago. And he basically like the article basically said that just the act of like going on a date with someone is like one of the scariest things that a woman could do because you don't even know who this person is.
Yeah.
And it's that like the biggest fear I have as a guy is getting rejected and embarrassed. The biggest fear you have as a girl is getting killed or
Yeah.
So once I like started to understand that from that perspective, I became like much more like empathetic and like tolerant and like accepting, and I had a much more like positive outlook on like in my dating life, and you know what that led to?
What?
I got a chance to like date and sleep with more women, and it was great. Like so that's what I think like it's
yeah. Absolutely. Men that are like that understand that, and men that are like quote unquote feminists get so much pussy, man. They really do.
Some do.
A lot of them do.
But it depends on what your definition of a feminist is and why you're a feminist and why you feel that way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I said
like
quote. That's why I said quote unquote feminist.
Like, if you just try to pretend like you're a feminist and virtue signaling on the internet to try to get laid, people see through that and it's pathetic and it's lame.
Absolutely. I know someone exactly like that and does that shit, and I'm like, bro, you're fake as fuck, and everybody knows it. And all the girls in the community. Here's the thing: everybody talks, especially in the city. Like, I know so many women, and we all know who's fucked with who. Like, it's the craziest thing. It's the craziest phenomenon, but. Yeah, and we can tell who's being fake and who's not being fake and who's being genuine about their actual beliefs and like what they're doing. So
I knew a guy at my gym before I went to 10th Planet. This guy at Eastside of Austin Elite. His name was Juan, and he was awesome. Like he was really really cool guy, right?
Yeah.
But he told me that in high school, he banged like 75 chicks in high school, right?
What?
And he was a wrestler and like he maybe played like tennis or he did some other sport, right?
Yeah.
But he banged a ton of women in school. And I was like, how the fuck did you do that? And he's like, well, I was friends with them and we were cool.
Yeah.
And, once we had sex, I didn't brag about it.
Yeah.
And I respected whatever they wanted to do. And I just still talked to them and treated them like they're my friends.
Oh,
and then, everything just kind of worked out and like.
Hence a fuckboy was born.
No, but what I'm saying
I'm joking,
no, but what I'm saying though is that like he never had any drama with chicks. He's still friends with them. Like all the girls are real cool with him and all that stuff. And it's just an interesting perspective setter. And like, there's plenty of guys I know who like work downtown that like just clean house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And none of the girls that they sleep with have bad feelings towards them.
Yeah.
Right? And I think
Because they respect them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
Just respect us. We'll give you pussy, bro. Like, just respect us.
And just do a good job. And just like put our needs, put our needs
Make
first.
Me feel good.
And then
like,
that's all that matters.
What the fuck?
But it's not. But people think it's like this like big thing that you have to like
yeah.
read books on, or like you have to act a certain way or you become bitter. No, like literally just put somebody else before you and just be a grown up human being, and that's
care
it.
about yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't put someone else completely before you.
Well, I mean like sexually, you put them before you.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, take a shot. God damn.
She's fucking delicious.
I'm so happy we went with the bullet bourbon.
I'm happy that
Sponsor us.
You chose this. I'm proud of you for your decision making.
I'm a fucking bartender, dude.
You're killing it.
At first, I was like, let's do JMO because I'm so used to taking like shitty Jameson shots at the bar.
I've had at least 3 chicks that I like happen to have slept with that voted for me to be the mayor of Austin.
I voted for you.
Fuck, well, I never slept with you, but yes.
No, but I voted for you.
Yeah, you made a good
You
decision.
said congratulations to me.
What?
I never slept with you. Congratulations for voting for me. I'm like, bro, okay.
Oh my god.
But yeah, man, I'm definitely
drunk.
No, I'm not drunk.
I'm a lightweight.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's fine.
I'm sorry.
I'm a cheat. Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
I unfortunately drink a lot of people under the table, and not because I'm an alcoholic, but it's because I'm a bartender, and I'm like trained to like work 8 hours straight and still like fucking
and still function and drink
and still function and close up at the end of the night.
Now, I used to have a really high tolerance.
Yeah.
But then I got old.
How old are you now?
35.
Oh shit.
I know.
Okay. I'm 30. I'm about to be 31.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Yeah, you know, Scorpio baby.
Oh shit. Love it. I love it. So we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. Hey, how much time have we gone, Charlie?
47 minutes.
All right. Yo, let's I think we
What's the time limit on this?
like an hour usually.
Oh, okay.
What else we talked? I think we talked about abortion enough. I'm kind of tired. I'm kind of ready to move
I was
on.
like 10 minutes in. I was like, all right, let's talk about my
I think
body.
let's
talk about body positivity now.
No, let's talk about that. I think we talked about all that stuff.
Yeah.
But you are a very body positive person.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. It's taken me a fucking long time to get here. It's taken me a lot of hard work, a lot of mental work, a lot of just everything, like willpower, all of that above, right? To like get to the state where I'm at, where I can look at myself and be like, oh, okay.
Listen, I might get in trouble for saying this, but you're a pretty sexy big girl, Angie. Like,
I'm happy you didn't say you're sexy for a big girl. I appreciate that because I do get like, oh, you're pretty for a fat girl. You're pretty for, and I'm like, what? I'm pretty. You can just say I'm pretty, and I appreciate. Like, yeah, I am big. Fuck it. Yeah. Like, I'm not, that's not offensive to me at all. What would be offensive is if you were like, you're pretty for a big girl.
yeah.
You know? So thank you for not doing that. Yeah.
I didn't even think that was something you said, but okay.
No, people do it. People fucking do it all the time. And it's like, I'm like, all right, cool, thanks.
Well, I think that like, there's the sexual like attractiveness spectrum is based on who you are, right?
Yeah, it's based on like how you
carry yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
Because they're like, nobody wants to be with like a 10 that lays down like a Lincoln log and doesn't do anything.
Maybe they do want to be with a 10 that doesn't want to do anything.
No, maybe they want to take them to parties so they can show off to their friends and get like a promotion in their business.
Probably.
You know what I mean?
Probably.
But like, are you really happy with that person?
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. You know, I think like confidence definitely comes from within, and like.
Well, it comes from knowing what you like and being okay with what you like and being happy with it, and also being happy with your shortcomings.
Yeah, but also knowing that there is, like I've said before, like with the whole COVID shit, like I'm 100% on whatever the fuck you want to do with your body that makes you happy, do it. Like, so if you're looking at yourself and you're like, oh, I don't like this, I want to go to the gym and work out, do it. If I want bigger tits, I want to get plastic surgery, do it. Whatever the fuck you want to do that is going to make you that
you
bitch,
should also,
do it.
But you should also, like, really do a thorough understanding about if this actually will make you happy. Because there are a lot of people that get these implants and get all that stuff done that are still miserable afterwards.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I think
and then that comes with from within. At the end
you
of the
have
day.
to do internal assessments, like
Yeah,
do some mushrooms.
you're right.
You know what I mean? Go
Oh,
trip,
yeah.
like go do
Yep.
yoga, maybe go to temple, go to church, like do something that'll make you feel like that'll give you a thorough understanding of who you are as a human being, right?
Absolutely.
Like do an activity that forces you to like dig deep and find who you are. And I think once you do that, then you become comfortable with yourself, and then it's okay.
Yes, I agree with you there, but it's more than just finding an activity. It's literal work.
But that's
like
it's
literally
literal work
waking.
is an activity, though.
No, I mean like it's like waking up every day and looking at yourself in the mirror and being like, I'm beautiful. Even if you don't believe it, you're just like, I'm beautiful.
Let me
I'm beautiful.
Let me ask you a question, though.
Yeah.
Like, what do you do? Like, you still have a lifestyle that makes you that ingrains that in your thought process.
Yeah, I guess.
You work out?
I
saw your Instagram story. You literally just worked out like.
Yeah, I go for like runs and walks like twice a week. Like it's.
You still work out?
Yeah.
Do you eat healthy?
Sometimes.
I mean, like you don't eat like
I
garbage.
eat tacos every day.
Tacos are fine. I think people overreact. Like you still get all your food. You still get all your essential foods when you eat a taco.
Yeah, you get your fucking.
You get
tortilla,
your meat. You get your carbs. You get your veggies.
Yeah, everything.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah, it's great.
Nothing wrong with eating tacos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I'm
I mean,
Mexican,
like,
so I tacos run in my blood.
Like, but like, you do yoga. Like, do you like go to Barton Springs? Like, do you expose yourself to nature? Like, you do things.
I mean, like, I
to
try,
make yourself
yeah.
feel connected to the world that you live in, right?
Absolutely, but like, I also do struggle with like severe depression. So, doing those
I did not know
things, yeah. So, but doing those things takes a lot out of you, bro. Like so much out of you.
Like going to Barton Springs takes that.
To wake up, get out of bed. Like that's it's insane. And that's what you have to work on is just like getting out of bed, taking that step, looking yourself in the mirror and being like, I'm okay today. You know? And those little steps, those little things that you take every day to like force yourself to get out of your comfort zone will force you to be like, oh, I'm going to go to Barton Springs today and wear that bikini that I've never worn before because my fupa just makes me feel so uncomfortable or my body is just like my double chin or whatever the fuck it is. Like eventually, like with that everyday push that you're like, all right, I'm okay today. I look okay today. I'm fine today. That will eventually get you to going to the gym more if you want to go to the gym or going out with your friends and wearing that tiny skirt you want to wear or wearing that sexy ass button up with just like a little bit unbuttoned so you can show like your chest hairs as a guy, you know, like whatever it is, that it's little steps. It's never going to be something that you can just wake up and do. It's intense, man. Like I said, I've worked 10 years on myself to get here where I'm like good. And even at that, I have down days where I'm like, I don't want to get out of bed and like I feel like shit about myself or I like look at myself, I'm like, dude, I'm a fucking trash bag today. But I still put on a face of makeup. I still keep to that routine of just I'm gonna keep pushing through. I am a bad bitch. Yeah. Because I have to tell myself. I have to lie to myself until I believe it. And then I believe it.
I mean, it happens. Listen, I struggled with a bunch of like learning disabilities as a kid.
Yeah.
Put me in like special classes when I was younger that had a little bus. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
I know all that. I know about all this stuff. You know. Like,
yeah.
I was getting fired from every job I had up until I found pedicabbing. This is literally the only job that I've been good at.
Yeah.
And I just happen to be really good at this job.
Yeah, you're great at talking to people. That's
yeah,
for sure.
I happen to be great at this job. And because I found something that I'm really good at, and I like. While I've happened to be really good at this job, I started learning about like the stock market and the financial system and like looking into Bitcoin and all that stuff like that. I've been able to like go from having nothing to having something.
Absolutely.
And so because of that, you know, when I see people trying to like restrict my way of life or trying to say, hey, you can't do X, Y, Z unless you've gotten this shot or whatever it is, when those shots could have potentially caused those problems that I had growing up as a kid, I'm very sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And so it has also played a very large role in terms of like how I look at the world around me and how I see people around me.
You're really gonna answer a call in the middle of this podcast?
Yes, my rider. Hold on. What's up, dude? I'm literally doing a podcast right now.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Bye.
All right.
Hopefully we caught that. That'd be
Yeah,
hilarious.
it'd be fun. Of course we caught it. Of course we caught it. We got like 5 minutes, but yeah, that's funny.
Damn. I wish we talked more about body positivity throughout this podcast, honestly.
I'm sorry that we didn't. We still have a few minutes.
It's okay. No, it's 5 minutes.
But I think that having positivity, like body positivity, is largely based on how you feel about yourself mentally.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think that what you do physically also, it is work. But it is work. It is work,
it's
right?
Like, it's like the whole thing, like, oh, this. Okay, so a few like months ago, like during the pandemic, Cosmo released a magazine with like bigger women, an issue with bigger women on it, and says it's healthy. I'm like, okay, well, is it healthy? Is it mentally healthy, or is it physically healthy? Because not everybody is the same.
That's not true though.
Exactly.
But you know what the problem is though, Angie. You know what the problem is?
A lot of these a lot of these like social media or brands or platforms that are releasing like this big girl body positivity movement don't truly believe in it, because if they did believe in it, then they would understand that not every body is the same, and that like some people, bigger people, that is not healthy for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
And some people, that is their healthy weight, and some people mentally are happier in this state. And that is okay also.
Yes.
And just allow that to happen.
So there's also different body types, like endomorph, ectomorph, and mesomorph, and all that stuff, right? So like different people have different body types, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that when they say stuff like, hey, big is healthy, and then people with super high BMIs are dying of COVID.
Well, BMIs,
you know what I mean?
So there's a lot of research we're saying like BMIs
right.
and whatever, what's that other one, EF or whatever,
Yeah,
EMFs. But like, that doesn't, those numbers don't
necessarily correlate.
Yeah, they don't.
But generally speaking, the people who have like died of COVID or had to be severely hospitalized have, for the most part, been like, fat and out of shape and unhealthy, right? And let me just say this first, and it's that you can be fat and be really healthy and also be really like agile and be in great shape.
Yeah.
There are world-class athletes who are fat as fuck. That like have good diets and are in optimal condition. Okay. So the correlation between like physical conditioning and what you look like that's kind of a myth in terms of all that stuff.
Yeah.
But there is a relationship between your ability to fight viruses and your physical health.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think they missed that point when they talk about that.
I didn't get COVID all year long.
Yeah.
Like I told you. But I was taking vitamin D, vitamin C. I was going on daily walks. I was also drinking a shit ton and taking a lot of drugs and going out to parties. So like,
you could have gotten COVID and you could have just maybe not known.
I was getting tested every 2 weeks because I had to bartend.
Okay.
And that was the way I had to make money.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I was out and about, man. I was dealing with thousands of people like every week because of my job. So like what I was just taking my vitamins and I was like just doing my thing.
Are you still doing it?
Yeah, of course.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean like that's just a part of me, in that sense. Like I haven't always taken vitamins, but when I learned, I was like, okay,
I've been a lot more serious about that lately.
Yeah, I can't afford to get sick because I support my parents. I not only
You support your parents?
Yeah, I help them with money and stuff. Like
really?
I work my ass off, man. Like I don't always like I know on social media it looks like I'm this crazy party person.
Well, your job has to do with partying,
yeah,
so
because my job entitles me to become this character.
Yeah, but do I look like an extremely hard worker on social media?
Extremely heartbroken.
No, hard worker. Do I look like an extremely hard worker?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, because you're hustling. You're doing your podcast and you're running for mayor fool. Yeah. Like literally, like it came off like you're hustling. You're doing your thing.
Okay. Well,
so like, and you can truly. I mean, like you project what you want to project on social media, right?
But I'm not trying to do that. I always felt like I projected like that. I was just like some slagger who drives a pedicab and talks a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's who you are.
Yeah. All right.
There's no problem with that.
No, I get that.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say about that? Okay, so I didn't know that you supported your family though.
Yeah, I help them out a lot. Yeah. Do
you really?
Yeah. There's my dad's really sick right now and he hasn't been able to work and It's definitely been a process, but it's there.
I from when I've talked to you, it always seems like you're always like struggling a little.
Yeah, because I send the money.
Oh, but if you didn't, you'd be like rolling in it.
I don't know about rolling in it. I would probably still be like doing crazy shit.
I understand. Did you buy any Bitcoin last year?
I did. I did have a little bit of Bitcoin. I did have a little bit of Dogecoin.
Oh, you had the retard coin? All right.
I had it all. I had it all, man. Ethereum or whatever the fuck.
Ethereum.
Ethereum. I don't know this shit, okay? I was like, all right, I'm just going to buy whatever Reddit is telling me to buy right now, which is the worst thing ever. Don't do it. I learned very quickly. But yeah, I ended up selling. I ended up selling everything. Like all of my stocks that I bought from like JP Morgan and all that shit.
When?
I sold it all. Like a month ago.
That's retarded.
And that like helped me, like, I know it's ridiculous, but like that helped me like survive during the time that I got fired from my last job.
And but you needed to do that then.
Yeah, I needed to do that.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Money comes and goes. Money's like chickens, bro. Like they come and go. Like
I think that when
it's
it comes
not
to having to sell like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all that stuff.
Yeah. I can always buy it back. That's the thing.
Yeah,
like,
you can, but at the same, well, I think you'll be all right. It's
I'll be
so
fine.
volatile.
Yeah.
I would hate to sell my crypto though. I sold a little bit of crypto.
Yeah,
on
you
Sunday.
told me. Yeah. How much did you get back, if you don't mind me asking?
That's not for the podcast. We'll talk about that afterwards. It's not for the podcast.
No.
But I think it's always important to de-risk.
Yeah.
You know, I think that like I've gotten a lot more in tune with how markets worked and like how, you know, like what a PE ratio is, like how to understand certain things in the company's balance sheet, to understand like how to make wise investments, what those investments are for. Yeah. I think that stuff is important. I think they should be teaching that in school.
Absolutely. I literally wish every day that I went to school for business and finance and all of that stuff.
Well, you don't
versus
need
going
to.
to school for film.
You don't.
Now I realize I don't really need to, but it'd be nice to have that foundation.
So you got any new projects you're working on?
I have a shit ton of projects I'm working on. So yesterday I actually did a shoot for this new brand that's dropping on November 1st called Hella. It's a very sexy body empowerment kind of shoot. Definitely right up my alley. I've actually also been working on trying to create a huge event for artists and filmmakers and photographers all over the city to like celebrate, you know, what basically all the shit we went through and the new art that's coming through it, because it like literally it has pushed a lot of artists in all mediums to go the extra mile during this pandemic, because they lost a lot of like their real life audience and they've had to make everything digital. So I wanted to showcase their work and like really do that. But unfortunately, I can't find a venue. So because everyone is so broke, they won't do it because so I'm trying to raise money for several organizations here in Austin that support. So HAM. HAM is a music organization that helps pair musicians with children to like help them like teach, you know. It's like a great organization. Another one is Chula. That one is same thing but with artists and art, and like, you know, you basically have a big sister, little sister, brother, whatever program. I wish I had these better defined for you, but yeah, unfortunately a lot of these venues because of COVID are all struggling, and so they won't take like, because you're working with these organizations, which used to happen in the past because I used to throw events as well. They'd be like, okay, cool, we'll take just like bar sales, and because you're working with this organization, we can like throw this party. But so a lot of event spaces are not happening. So right now I'm still looking for an event space to throw this like immersive, futuristic 80s style like massive event that's featuring artists all over the city. But yeah, and then like music videos and all that good shit. I've got a lot of crazy stuff coming out. So yeah.
Nice, you're crushing it.
I'm trying. Like I just gotta hustle, baby.
Yeah, I love it. You're doing that. Hey, before we wrap up, how do we get in touch with you?
You can follow me at the Velvet Scorpion on Instagram, or if you want to contact me with like any photo shoots or video work, you could do Angela Simona as well on Instagram. So yeah.
Cool. Hey, thank you so much. Angeles Almaguer, ladies and gentlemen. Woo!
Almaguer.
Almaguer. That's right. I said that. All right.
Thank you.